Okay, welcome back, people. There was a technical glitch. I suppose I didn't receive the requisite number of good evenings today. That's why I tell you, I send good evenings in requisite number so that we don't face such technical glitch. Again, so how many of you are there? You cannot raise hands over this platform, but you can definitely confirm your presence by sending me a good evening wish. Okay, so what I was telling you is that major of our main topics, we have finished with them. One of the topics, cooperative societies, we'll be taking up in the later half of the class. And in the first half, we'll be finishing our short topics, very short topics, which hardly take 10 to 15 minutes for each topic, because if we relate those audit programs for those special entities to our daily lives, right? We know about clubs, hospitals, charitable institutions, and educational institutions, right? Hotels, cinema hall. Will be definitely able to understand the concept. We have the requisite layman knowledge about these entities. Now we'll be studying them from the point of view of an auditor, and it would be really interesting. So let's move it. Yeah, I am getting good evenings now. You people are now active. Anushka is like, no, sir, 3, 4 good evenings. But there should not be any technical glitch. Okay, students. So let's start with our today's topic, and that would be club. Okay, here we go. So, yes. When we talk about club, right? Some of you might have been to a club. Some of you might not have been. So what is it? A normal place for entertainment, recreation, right? Parties and all. So we need to understand the organization structure. We need to understand the organization structure of a club. And we have already read about the organization structure in the first class. I showed you a table, right? It's on the first slide of your notes. Some common points to be taken care of. Are you able to hear and view me? Can somebody please write it in the chat box? I hope there is no more issues with the lecture. Can you please put it up in the chat box if you're able to hear me and I'm visible to you? Abhishek, it is not in your syllabus. How to audit zoo? No, special kind of entities, whatever is there in your syllabus. So, okay, from Abhishek's question, I can conclude that you are able to hear me and I'm visible. So when we talk about the audit of such kind of entities, okay, just open the creativity windows to your brain. Just imagine, okay, just recall your experiences in these entities, and if you haven't, whatever you have seen in movies or read in books or whatsoever, just recall that experience and you'll be able to understand the concepts in a fine manner. So let's start with the club. Okay, audible with it. Okay, done. Thank you for the confirmation. So I'm going to a club with my friend, right? So just understand the aspects, all the steps in a sequential manner, right? So just put yourselves in a story, be it a web series, right? The club. So you are entering the club. What will be your first place in the club? We'll go to the reception, right? The ground floor, the reception. And at the reception, what do we talk about? We talk about the entrance fee. Because if you are a club member or you are a new member, you will have to pay the entrance fee. So see, an auditor is walking side by side, or you are an auditor and you are doing the walkthrough test. What is a walkthrough? Each and every step is repeated, how the operations are being done. So as an auditor, you are going through the walkthrough. Okay. So in the reception, what could be the work being performed? Entrance fees. So how do you check the entrance fees, whether it is being recorded properly or not, whether it is being received properly or not? We go for vouching and we vouch the receipts. So we vouch the receipts on account of entrance fee with members' applications and counterfoils. What are counterfoils? The receipts. The receipts issued to them and what we have with us, the copies. So we check the members' application. Members' applications would be there and the counterfoils issued to them. Are they in agreement with each other? And we also refer to minutes of the managing committee. What rules, policies have they set up? What rules and policies have they set up for the fee collection? So we have entered the club. From entered, just remember entrance fee. Then what is there? And when you are entering the club, that means you are its member. So we go for member subscriptions. The second point, I'm entering the club because I'm a member. There could be some guest with me, or if I'm entering the club, I could be a prospective member. So we come to members, and members subscribe to the club by paying annual fee, monthly fee, subscriptions, right? So how do you check the fee? You check the fee again, counterfoils and receipts. So you issue receipt to your member, the club issues receipt to the member, and we have a counterfoil of the receipt with us, a copy of the receipt with us, signed. So we check it, the members register and the member subscriptions. Then trace receipts for a selected period to the register of members. Again, counterfoils and with the register of members. Also reconcile the amount of total subscriptions due with the amount collected and outstanding. What is the total number of subscriptions? Out of that, what is the amount collected and with what amount is outstanding? You all have done accounting for non-for-profit organizations in your accounts module or in your +1, +2 days, right? And what were the questions we were doing, right? Subscriptions received in advance, subscriptions outstanding. This is the only thing we are doing. So this is the number of members. This much is the amount collected, 100 members. 80 members gave their fees, 20 members outstanding. And out of the 80 members, 20 members have paid their advance subscription fee. So this is what you have to reconcile. How much is for the year? How many have paid in advance? How many are outstanding? What do you do is member subscriptions. I've entered the club, entrance fee. I've entered the club because I'm a member. So member subscriptions. Then when we talk about member subscriptions, there would be arrears of subscriptions or received in advance. So we have arrears of subscriptions, right? And subscriptions received in advance, what I just told you about. So we have to ensure that arrears of subscriptions of previous year have been correctly brought over. What was the closing balance of arrears when this year started? That has been properly brought forward as the opening balance. And if there are any more arrears during this year, it should be added to that particular list. And arrears of year under audit, arrears belonging to the same year, and subscriptions received in advance. So these were, the first point talks about the arrears brought over from last year's, from previous years. And now we talk about the arrears under, for the year under audit, and subscriptions received in advance have been correctly adjusted as per accrual basis. You remember? We used to prepare the income and expenditure account from the receipts and payment account. This is what adjustment it is talking about. So we have entered the, what we've done? We've entered the club. We have entered the club because we are a member. And when it comes to members, we have to check the member subscriptions and any arrears or advance related to subscription. Then if we are checking the members register, we should also check for the arithmetical accuracy. Very simple point, you have to check the totals of various columns and tally them across with each other. Very simple point, you have to check the arithmetical accuracy. And what do we need to see in the register of members? Finally, we have come to the fifth point, right? So first point is entrance fee. The later 4 points, the next 4 points are related to, yes, Kamal. It is your own will. Usually these kind of social organizations prepare their books on cash basis. So we have to see the members' dues, which are in arrear. Inquire from the management whether necessary steps have been taken to recover that and what amount is considered irrecoverable. Finally, concluding the members registers. We started with the member subscriptions, then we went to arrears and advance, then we went to arithmetical accuracy, and finally we tell them that what are the arrears, have you made efforts to recover them, and what amounts have you considered to be irrecoverable. That this member is not coming since a long time. We have not heard about them since a long time. We don't feel that they'll be rejoining the club. So they should be mentioned in the audit report. So what is it? We are done with the members now. So I've done with the reception work time. Entrance, 4 points relating to members. Now I want to go to the club canteen. The club canteen or the club restaurants. A guest is with me. I want to check how are they maintaining the food stuff, the cost related to food, what margins are they charging. So the next point is pricing policy. I go to the first floor of the club building where there is club canteen. You might be having clubs in your areas, the district hall clubs, the convention clubs, the town hall clubs, right? So what we do, we have to check internally regarding what members being charged with the price of foodstuffs and drinks provided to them and their guests. So what actually a club does, it rents its, if there is a club building, it rents its halls, its banquet halls, its room centers to third parties or club members. This is how they earn. It might be their policy. So to members, the services are provided at discounted rates, and to third parties at normal rates and market rates. Okay. So what we need to check, that the price being charged from members for the food stuff and drinks, right? And what price, what fees is being charged for special services, such as along with the canteen, there is a playroom, games room, sports room, the sports section. We have a pool, a swimming pool, we have the tennis court, we have the billiards table, right? So for the club members, various kinds of indoor sports are there and indoor games are there. So what fees and in what manner is it being charged from the members? Monthly basis, quarterly basis, or there is a full package fee available for using the club facilities? So next, after members, we come to the pricing policy for the food stuff and the games. Now, when I have entered the canteen, right, I'm sitting with my guest and I order food and everything, right? And the server comes to me and I tell him, what do you give me? Mere hisab mein likh lena. Write it in my account. Add it to my account. What is that? We maintain member accounts. Clubs maintain member accounts. Either they have deposited some amount in advance, that whenever we come to the club with our guest, the amounts get deducted from the account the amount gets deducted from their account maintained with the club, or they just want them to add it so that they pay the amount on a weekly, fortnightly, or monthly basis. So what do we need to check? No member is taking or with the benefit of specialized services from the club. Their amounts are pending since long. We should check that. There should be proper recoveries from the members as well. So what do we need to do? We need to trace debits from a selected period from subsidiary registers. So the member accounts will be maintained in subsidiary registers, different books, accounting books, maintained in respect of supplies and services to members, to confirm that the account of the every member has been debited with the amounts recoverable from him. Whether it is related to canteen services, whether it is related to your using of game section, sports section, everything has been debited for the services to the member accounts. If they have paid therein in cash or by any means, that amount should be deducted simultaneously. And there should be a proper reconciliation. Okay, so I entered the club, reception, ground floor. Then where members related, then members related, right? I'll come to the questions after I finish with the topic. Okay, and members related 4 points, then the pricing policy and the member accounts. Then we see we are in the canteen. As an auditor, I check what kind of margins they must be maintaining. So I can definitely check the records, what is the cost they are getting, and aren't they charging, aren't they getting much margins, higher margins? No. We should vouch the purchase of foodstuffs, cigars, wine, etc., and test their sale price so as to confirm that the normal rates of gross profit have been earned on their sales. For members, even they charge less than the market price. So even if it is being served to the third party, it is being sold to the third party, normal rates of gross profit are being charged. And if we are in the canteen, we should also check for inventories. The inventory of unsold. Unsold is what? Your closing stock. Provisions. What is provisions? Provisions is the small amenities, the amenities required in a club. And stores at the end of the year should be verified physically. I have to check the club store. And their valuation in clubs books be checked. At what value have they been recorded? So when I'm talking about margins, just remember GPM. So I have to check the cost, whatever is related to the closing stock, the cost, right? The margins, okay, and the valuation of inventory. So foodstuffs, serve cigars and wines, check their sale price, check the profits being maintained by the club, profit being charged, made, and the closing stock, its valuation and its physical audit. When we are talking about inventory, so how do we check the inventory? We check the inventory with inventory register. We vouch the purchase of sports items, furniture, lobby area, crockery, and check their payments, their authorizations, everything. Okay, and check them physically as well. So we check the inventory register and check them physically as well, along with income plans with the registers. So what we have done with the 9 points: entrance fee, 4 points related to members, member subscriptions, areas of member subscriptions, arithmetical accuracy, register of members, 4 points, right? Then we went to the first floor in the canteen. In the canteen, we checked for the pricing policy of second floor, pricing policy of the foodstuffs, and pricing policy of the fees charged on special services. Then we are sitting in the canteen and we order food and we request them to charge it to your account, member accounts, right? And then we think of what kind of margins would they be maintaining. So I check for them. And I'm checking margins. Just before sales, we have closing stock in the trading account, right? So we check for the inventory. Done? These 9 points, right? Then the last 2 points. What do we do after auditing? We discuss it with the management. Now the management room is on the second floor. After doing all this, I went to the second floor to the management room. C. So management is management room is maintaining the investments in the name of the club. So I inspect all the investments maintained with them, check their current values, so that what are they disclosing in their final accounts, and check whether they have been put into safe custody. It is not should not like this that the office boy is maintaining the investments. They should be in proper custody. You should be satisfied with the arrangements, right? And finally, you discuss it with the management. What are your powers? What powers have been given to the secretary? What powers have been given to the treasurer? What are the powers of the chairman to the board? You discuss their financial powers because it is a financial audit. You discuss the financial powers of the secretary, and if you find that they have been exceeded, you have to confirm it from the managing committee that these were the cases where we found that they exceeded their powers, right? They exceeded their powers, and whether you need to mention it in your report or not. For example, the secretary was empowered to issue checks of 10,000 or less with his son under his signature only. For checks amounting to more than 10,000, 2 signatures were required, secretary and either the treasurer or the chairman. So what could the secretary do? It could he could divide the whole the big amounts into small amounts of less than 10,000. If you could trace it, you can definitely discuss it with the management. What is being happening? What is happening over here? Why has the amount of 25,000 been divided into 5 checks of 5,000? Why couldn't it be issued with a single amount? That you could unearth a fraud, or the higher management might know about it, and they could tell you that this is with our authorization. Okay, so this is what the audit of a club is. Okay, let's come to the question. Is the audit report of club different from audit report of companies? Yes, there is no specific format, but audit report is a simple format. You can take the format of companies as well, or it is simple format, or the club may lay down its own format. Is the auditor allowed to audit if he is a member of the club? Usually not. Usually not, but again, it depends upon the committee, right? Depends upon the members. What authorization, what resolution has been passed by them. Difference between subscription fees and entrance fees, please. Okay, Manish. So you want to be, you have heard about the Rotary clubs and Lion clubs in your city? If you've heard about it, I'll give you an example. What do such kind of social clubs do? Right? Any kind of club, it need not require a physical infrastructure. It could be a body of people. They meet at different places. They have their office in a small room. That is completely fine. So if you want to be a member of the club, right, there are already some members of the club. If you want to be a member of the club, they charge annual fee, right? That is a subscription fee. It could be 10,000, it could be 15,000. That is a subscription fee every member has to give. In a year, specific year, another member, one of the persons wants to join the club. So he's entering the club for the first time. There are some old members as well, right? So to enter the club, he's charged a special fee that is called the entrance fee. You are joining our club for the first time. So this is what, so if the subscription fee is 15,000, the member might have to pay 25,000. 10,000 as the entrance fee and 15,000 like other members are paying for subscription, towards subscription. Okay, separate funds are maintained for it. And from another year onwards, he'll be paying subscription fee like other members. I hope the difference between subscription and entrance fee is cleared. So that was about club, quite simple. if you relate it, again, I'm telling you these short topics, if you relate it to your daily routine or activities around you, it is quite easy. So a charitable institution, uh, which is having its objective to serve the poor, needy, or any social objective, right? So special steps involved in such an audit are general steps. The first and foremost step, study the constitution. Okay, is it an NPO or it is actually an NPO? It is in the corporate form, Section 8 company. Is it a trust, a society? You have to study the constitution under which the charitable institution has been set up. What is required is the charity, the object of charity. It could be done under any form. Okay. And after checking the constitution, what do you need to do? You need to check, verify whether the constitution is being managed as per the law under which it has been established, under which it has been incorporated. If it is a Section 8 company, as per the Companies Act. If it is a trust, as per the Indian Trust Act. If it is a society, as per the Societies Act. Whatever is applicable to it. It is being managed in the same manner under the law under which it has been set up. Some general points of audit. What are these? Internal check. Okay. Internal check regarding how are receipts being accounted for. And the income, what do we need to verify? We need to verify the income and confirming the amounts received deposited in the bank. Very important. Regularly, promptly, or on the basis as decided by the management. But it should not be a long duration objective. The deposits should be made in the bank regularly or at a smaller interval. Now, what do we come to when we are a part of a charitable institution? Again, donations and subscriptions. So people subscribe to, you might be getting magazines at your home. Your parents might have subscribed to Jan Seva and all such kind of magazines, right? That was just a fictional name. Jan Seva and all, it could be anything. And you subscribe to it. So they come out with magazines or different kinds of subscriptions, right? So our families, and we can subscribe to it, or we can directly donate to local charitable institutions. These are the incomes. So when we talk about charitable institution, first thing that should be coming to our mind is the constitution. And it is being run as per the law under which it has been incorporated. Second thing that would come to our mind is the receipts. And third is the expenditure. Okay. So what are the receipts? We have it here. Annual or life membership subscription. You know, our institute has maintained a CABF, Chartered Accountants Benevolent Fund, and the membership to it is either annual or life membership. What is life membership? Can anybody tell me what is life membership? So we subscribe as a life member to a particular institution. What is life membership? Anybody? Let me see if you know this. Yes. Life membership is you become a member of life by paying a one-time fee. The one-time fee is decided by the management of that particular institution. And you become a life member. Whatever the benefits and the amenities you enjoy as a member of that particular institution, you need not pay for that again. Similarly, our Chartered Accountants Benevolent Fund also has the option of life membership and annual membership. Annually, you have to pay a certain amount. And if you become a life member, you can become a life member by paying a certain amount as decided for one-time payment. So you become a life member by making a one-time payment, and annually, whenever you wish, you can pay it on a yearly basis. So What are the changes made in the annual or life membership subscription? If they increased, decreased, or are they the same as the previous year? And we have to now come to the receipts. So how do you check the receipts? We have to check that adequate internal control is there. Over what? Over unused receipt books. Over unused receipt books. Yes. You people already know about it, right? That the unused receipt books are stored somewhere. We are not taking that this much of why unused receipt books? Because we have to make sure in what form are we receiving the money. There should not be anything tampered with the unused receipt books. You should not be like today somebody is coming and donating and we are using this book, then this book. No, it should be properly serial numbered. And if one book gets completed, only then after you can use the another fresh book, receipt book. What for this? To avoid confusions, to avoid misaccounting of any money received. We have to obtain all the receipt books, right? Covering the period under review, test checking them with counterfoils. We all have the counterfoils. We check it with the ledgers and the slips issued to the donor, subscriber, and we have a counterfoil, right? We have to check the counterfoil, tally it with cash book. And if there are any cancelled receipts, they should be specifically looked into. Obtaining the printed list of subscriptions and donations. So the software or the manager itself would give you either handwritten or from the software what a printed list. Who is the member? Who is a life member? Who is an annual member? What amount have they contributed? And is it matching to what has been shown in the accounts? And we have to examine the system of internal check. What does it say? What kind of monies are received from box collection, flag? What is this? Box collections, flag days. And these are some events, different kinds of events which are conducted by the charitable institutions. You know, charitable institutions raise fundraising programs and everything. And we have to check what were the receipts, what were the expenses, what was the control exercised. There should not be any wasteful expenditure, and all the collections have been properly accounted for, right? And charitable institutions usually come out with their reports. We have to check whatever total subscriptions were there, donations were there, they have been properly made transparent in their reports. So this was a point related to subscriptions and donations. Legacies and grants, kind of capital donations, right? For specific purpose, for general. So whatever information is available with us, we have to verify and vouch and verify it with that particular information, the amounts, whatever is there in their files, their records, we have to come to it, right? We have to build steps. We have to done step-by-step auditing, right? We have to come to it. We have to build evidences to it. We have to vouch the amount with correspondence, receipts, and minute books. Normal points, right? We have to obtain a certificate, like what is it? SF580 written representations from a responsible official showing the amount of grants received. Okay. So a charitable institution, first of all, the first point was the constitution. The second point, the most important point, income. And income is received in what form? Subscriptions and donations, legacies and grants. 3 points covered, right? What could be other forms of income? Just start building your answer point wise so that you are at the exam time. If it asks you, how would you check the receipts of a charitable institution? So we could divide it. We will check the receipts. Receipts are usually subscriptions and donations, legacies and grants, income from investments, and rent. And it could ask you, how would you check the income from investments of a charitable institution? This particular message is a charitable institution who is working for the poor and needy in their area. As an auditor, how would you check their subscriptions and donations? So to check their subscription and donations, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points we have. Right? Income from investments, vouching the amounts received with dividend and interest counterfoils. So these were issued initially. Now everything is NACH enabled. ECS, everything is ECS, NACH enabled. What is that? Directly credited into the account. No counterfoils or something, they are mailed and directly credited into your account. Which kind of you can check every donation. You can check the receipts book on a sample basis, major amounts, big amounts. Like don't check for sample checking for 20 rupees, 100 rupees, 500 rupees. That is fine. You cannot check each and every receipt, right? But major donations and sample checking, yes, you can. Yeah, shops have charity collection box. Jan Seva, Go Seva, everything. Okay. So we have to check the calculations of interest received on securities being fixed. This is usually fine. We have to check whether appropriate dividend has been received, where investment has been sold ex dividend or purchased cum dividend. We all know the concept of ex dividend and cum dividend. Proper dividend has been recorded by working it out. What was the principal? What was the dividend? How much amount it was sold, and what was the profit or the loss made? Comparing the amounts of dividend received with schedule of investments. This is all really investment. It's very simple. If you have done the chapter of investments in accounting, this is real easy for you. Rent. So if the charitable institution is maintaining any building, they have a building in their name, they are having a hall, they could rent it out for religious events, charitable functions, fundraising programs for themselves, for their programs, as well as for third-party programs as well. Okay, so what was the amount of the rent? Right? This is something which you can take it as a receipt as well as an expenditure. Okay, so it could be as an income or it could be as an expense as well. So if the charitable institution is maintaining its office on rent, so you have to check the tenancy agreements. What is the amount of rent and what are the due dates? So you can take it in both ways. Here we are taking it as an income. So you have to check what is the tenancy agreement maintained with different people. If you are maintaining a building, will maintaining some quarters, anything. You have to check the rent agreement, the amounts of the rent and due dates, and the rent onto the rent roll for. We generally issue receipts. We have received this rent from this particular person. Receipt books. We have to check the receipt books and we have to check the totals of the cash flow. Tally it with the receipt book. Right? Sundry receipts, there are anonymous donations, there are other kind of donations. So vouching gross receipts and outgoings in respect of special functions, concerts, dramatic plays, right? Held for the purpose of charity. And we can also issue tickets. You can understand that in some areas, for example, during these Garba events and these special fairs, okay, some charitable institutions might hold these fairs. They go with economical cost and issue tickets, passes, VIP passes, VVIP passes, and everything. You might understand this. You might know about it. So we have to check that how many tickets were issued, how many were returned, what was the collection, and if the program was super hit, did we make some extra money? We could also get into an agreement with the stall people, different you can say the the people who maintain stalls over there, who organize stalls over there at your event, right? So you collect some royalty from them or some rent from them, whatever it is. These are all sundry receipts. And how do you check receipts? With the available documentary evidence. Now come towards the expenditure part. So we have, if we are donating to someone, some other institution, right? We have to make sure that, if you might have read it in income tax, that 85% of your income should be spent upon your charitable purpose. We have to check it that our amount is being granted and being used for charitable purpose only. And the 15% they allow for your running expenses, administrative expenses. They can pay from any receipts, Manish. They can pay from any receipts. I'm talking about 85%, right? As we can take the example of income tax, right? As income tax says, 100%, if you have received 100 rupees during the year, 85 rupees should be spent upon your donation, on your charity objective, and 15 rupees you can keep for your these expenses, rent and other office expenses and everything. Okay, Manish? So, and if it is failing to complete, to fulfill that object, you have to mention it in your report. Under the income tax, there is a special report designed by the income tax department. It specifically asks what was the amount. If you'll ever happen to audit a charitable institution and file its form 10B, you'll get to know what was the amount received, was any amount brought forward, what was the amount expended on the object of the charitable institution, and what amount has been kept aside to be expended in the coming year. All these columns are there. The income tax department asks in detail, right? So that is just an example. You have to discuss it with the managing committee. What was the shortfall? If the amount has been utilized for purposes other than charity, your object. Okay? And again, the same things, investments, inventories, both movable and immovable properties, right? Verifying the cash and bank balance payments, ascertaining that any funds contributed for a special purpose, right? We did it in NGO as well, have been utilized for that particular purpose. And we have to check the salaries and other expenses. They have been made after proper sanction by an appropriate authority, under a signature of an appropriate authority, right? The last part, taxation and tax refunds. Yes, Rishti, it could be. Yes, Rishti, very well. Amount spent on COVID for members other than employees are considered as charitable activity. Yes, and the government has come with a circular. The government has come with an announcement just recently that the amount you have spent in the COVID purpose, that would be counted. And for companies as well, you might have heard about corporate social responsibility. The government has come with that announcement that would be counted as corporate social responsibility if you have spent that amount on COVID related issues. Now we have to check whether the institution, charitable institution, enjoys exemption under the Income Tax Act. So for exemption, you have to file a form with the Income Tax Department that we are a charitable institution, we are registered as a trust, and we apply to you for exemptive income from tax because we work for the society and we don't have any profit motive. So income tax, the authorities, the concerned authorities grant you exemption from tax, right? And where any tax has been deducted from the investment income. If you haven't submitted the requisite form to your bank or where your income is being credited, so you could file a return and get it as a refund, right? You can obtain a refund. So we have to check the income tax refund, whatever is received, with the form 26AS, and we have to also check the calculation. That is with taxation and tax refunds. So we have divided into general, subscription, then we come to the incomes part, subscription, general part, right? Then the subscriptions and donations, legacies and grants, income from investments, and rent. Till fifth point, we were up to the incomes and then sundry receipts. So first point with respect to general, the next 5 points with respect to income, then expenditure, last is taxation and tax refunds. These were the points of charitable institution. Any doubt till now? Club, charitable institution. Some of the points like fixed assets, investments, they are almost similar in every kind of entity, right? Checking the receipts with counterfoils and everything. So whatever is there, which is basic and is common, I might skip that. Whatever is specific to one kind of entity, I'll take up that point. Okay. Hotel. And this is my most favorite part of this chapter. Hotel. So I usually recollect when I checked into a hotel on a vacation or an official trip. So what were the points? What did I check? I make it a point, no, that whenever I'm checking into a hotel, I always look for some points as far as my profession is concerned, right? If you are an auditor, if you are a chartered accountant, that particular things goes into your mind every time. You know? Even if you are eating a golgappa, we'll definitely be calculating what is the cost involved in this one particular golgappa which we are eating, and how much is this person making per day, and does he file his income tax return? The pani puri, the pav bhaji, or whatever, wherever we go for our recreation, the chartered accountant students and the chartered accountant's brain usually works in that direction from the basics. Yes, they maintain, Manish. They have to maintain all these books. Even if you see, even if a local, some sanstha or any organization comes to your office, shop or home for some donation, the authenticity is that they give you a signed receipt. Even if it is 20, 50 rupees, 100 rupees, they give you a signed receipt that we have taken this amount from this person towards donation purposes. They have their receipt books. They give you the original receipt and there is a carbon placed beneath it, and the counterfoil book remains with them. हाँ, Manish says, मेरे साथ बहुत होता है. Very much this happens with me. मेरे साथ भी बहुत होता है. So although you become like sometimes you matter of talk that even if standing on a beach or near a hotel is just understanding the finances over here. We have read it for 3 years. We are working over in this field for many years. So our brain is automatically inclined to all these aspects. We are helpless. So I've checked into a hotel, right? And what do I see? I'll go to the reception first. I never go to the reception. Whenever I check into the hotel, I'll just enjoy the lobby area. I'll see the lobby area, what furniture is over there, what kind of control is there, right? Then I go to the reception. So what happens with me is, so Hasini Digala, what kind of exemptions do we find in charitable trust? The income tax exemption, Swasini, I was talking about. The income tax exemption is that all their income is non-profit motive, right? What the money they get, they spend it for the social upliftment of different social sectors, right? So if it is not being subject to it is not with the profit motive, it is not earned with profit motive, why should it be subject to tax? That is why exemption from paying tax to the Indian government, that is the exemption we are talking about. So coming back to the hotel, we are in the hotel, we have checked in, right? We'll see, we go to the reception, and at the reception, the reception person, the manager, he or she asks for my details. Okay. And then I observe, I've been to a lot of hotels, what is the difference in their controls? Some of the hotels give you keys, right? Some of the hotels give you key cards. Some of the hotels, you have to put the card while you enter the room in the card slot to turn on all the lights. Some of the hotels, you just open the room and all the lights get turned on. You just close the door, all the lights automatically get turned off. So different kind of controls. Okay. In some hotels, there is a difference. There will be a person who will escort you till the reception, to the reception. Then the manager over there, he'll see all your credentials and give you your room keys, assign you your room, right? And then again, that person escorts you to the room attendant. Then room attendant takes you to your room. Sometimes it is only one person. He's taking us to the reception. Then he goes to the other side of the reception. Sir, what is the room number and all that? Then he takes us to the room. So you just check the internal controls, what kind of security levels, what kind of human interference levels are involved. So we first, when we enter in the hotel, we check the internal, we see the internal controls. So what does it say? It says pilfering is one of the greatest problems in any hotel, and the importance of internal control cannot be undermined. It is the responsibility of management to introduce controls which minimize the leakage as far as possible. Leakage is not some liquid leakage or something, the income leakage. Pilfering. Yes. Nipun, any kind of hotel. Any kind of hotel, not specific brand, any kind of hotel. Okay. So, which will minimize the leakage as far as. So, management is in every case, whether it is a club, it is a hotel, it is a charitable institution, it is a company, the management has to take care of the internal controls. What is pilfering? Pilfering is theft in small amounts, the literal definition, theft in small amounts, right? So, where could this pilferage happen? In the rooms? I've heard of cases where there are some guests who take things in their luggage while checking out, which they are not supposed to, right? There are some things like the toiletries and there is some stationery and everything. Okay, that is completely your wish, whether you want to take it or you've written something, or that is a used one, you want to take it with yourself. It's completely fine. But there are some amenities provided, some equipments provided, some things which are not meant to be taken along with you while you check out. That is pilferage. In the kitchen, by the hotel staff, if the controls are not proper, anybody could pilfer with the hotel's property. So strong internal controls you might have seen. Yes, little value. Yes, Rishti. So you might have seen that when you check out, right? They usually take 10 to 15 minutes. They give a call at the floor where each room was. The room attendant checks the whole room. Is it in order? Like, so everything is in its place. You haven't broken anything. All the furniture and everything, glasses is in order. Then they give a confirmation call. Everything okay. Clean sheet, green signal. And then they hand you over your bill, or if you have booked online, they give you clearance that yes, you can check out, right? Evidence of their success is provided by preparation of regular weekly trading count for each sales point and a detailed scrutiny of the resulting profit percentages. What could be the sale points? Food, different kind of rooms, the banquet halls, room bookings, any deviations being reported. Okay, what could be the cases of income leakage? A person is there who is could be the relative of the manager. He is staying for 2 days but has paid for 1 day. Any employee of the hotel, right? That is an income leakage. They stayed over there and had their 3 meals of the day but have been charged for only 1 meal. It could be the cases. You could easily find it out if you go through the papers, the records, the bookings. And if there are some VIP people, what kind of margins are being charged from them? There should not be any deviations from normal rates, strong deviations, high deviations. See, this industry faced the wrath during the last 1.5 years. Hotels, cinema halls. So specifically, when you talk about a hotel, we have to be very much careful about internal controls. And if there are any deviations, what is it saying? Prepare trading accounts, whether it's services, whether it's food stuff, at different sale points, and check for the profit deviations. Restaurant, bar, banquet hall, not in totality, but at different sales points, different trading accounts. If you have a suspicion, if you want to check the internal controls over finances, okay, if the internal control is weak, right? If the internal control is weak, control risk is high, and you have to keep your audit risk low so that the overall risk is minimized. And if I have to keep my audit risk low, I have to opt for a detailed program. If the controls are really good, control risk is low, so I can go for sampling and I can keep a short but desirable feasible program so that if there is any audit risk, the overall risk is minimized. Okay, so it says as a result of transient nature, changing and in large amount, in large number, clients' records, he has to rely on accounts, gross margin shown by the accounts. So we have to increase the audit test, and wherever discrepancies are noticed, we talk to the management, communication with those to those with charge with governance, and we'll have to consider whether we need to qualify our report or not. Okay, we have to check for the taxes, specifically nowadays GST, right? And on food, what rate of taxes are being charged on food? Because see, there could be rates of like the normal rate is 5%, but it differs in different hotels, 5-star hotels. Their rooms, there are if you have read in GST, there are caps for different rates for room rents. So you have to, on a sampling basis, you have to check some of the receipts that the taxes are being collected properly. It is not something that the software knows everything. It is a machine in itself, and the humans have made it. Humans are running it. There could be some lapses. You have to check for your satisfaction that there is no overtaxing or undertaxing. Neither the customer should be at loss, neither the government nor the government should be at loss. Okay. Room sales, again, the most important point in a hotel, room sales. Okay. What does it say? Just read with me. You'll correlate it with your daily, not daily vacation routine, right? What do you know as a layman? The charge for room sales is normally posted to guest bills by receptionists. They hand out their bill, or front officer, or in the case of large hotels, by the night auditor. Who is the night auditor? Can anybody tell me? Who is the night auditor? Okay, till the time you tell me who is the night auditor, we move forward. I want to know from you who is the night auditor. So what is the source of these entries, which is put into the bills? The guest register. They keep on adding it over here. One day, lunch was ordered, refreshment was ordered, extra toiletries were ordered. They use the bar as well, the bar in the room. So you keep on adding to your guest register. Okay, you have to check on sampling basis some of the bills counterfoils with the hotel with the guest registers maintained. That there is no undercharging or overcharging. There should not be income leakage as well. It is written in the guest register that they used the beverages kept in the bar but they have not been charged in the bill. This is income leakage. This is a loss to the hotel. And if there is any difference between what they were charged and what is the standard room rate of that hotel, differences should be investigated. So what could be the investigation results? There was a discount being run by HDFC Bank for by the hotel for HDFC card holders, SBI card holders. There was this bank available on the common platforms like Make My Trip, Go IBBO. That is why the standard room rate, if somebody walks into the hotel and books a room, the rent charge from his is rupees 5,000 per day. But if somebody is booking through the hotel's website or some common platform like this Go IBBO, OYO, or Make My Trip, so they are being charged less because of agreement with these aggregators. Okay. In many hotels, the housekeeper prepares a daily report of the rooms which were occupied the previous night and the number of beds kept in each room. Large families going to the hotel, checking in, they'll require extra beds. So what is the number of the beds given to the room, extra beds? How do they need to be charged? Okay. And these reports need not be permanently retained. Auditor should ensure that he's auditing the hotel's records for 3 days, 4 days. So he can, on that spot only, at that time only, ask the housekeeper, just give me previous day's reports. He should not ask for month back reports or year back reports. At that particular time, just give me reports of the previous 2 days or previous day, right? To check it with the guest register, to check the controls. Are they being properly made? Are you guys Googling it out? The night housekeeper. Yeah? You are writing it after such a long, at longer time intervals. Okay. So night auditor is the person who is there at the reception at the time of night when a previous day ends and the next day starts. He marks the day end and starts the next day, carries over the previous balances to the next day. He is the night auditor, right? Usually found in large hotels. He's not kind of an auditor. He's an employee only. Okay, not that kind of an auditor type. It is just a name given to him, night auditor. He's an employee of the hotel only. Ensure compliance with the provisions of FEMA and RBI if receipts are in foreign currency. Very important from tourism point of view. Foreigners visiting and receipts are in foreign currency. You have to check the provisions of FEMA and RBI. What is the limit? How can you account for the money? What rates have you to be take, and in what form do you charge the money? Ensure the application of proper conversion rate. Very important. Special emphasis to be laid on receipts through credit cards. So you have charged the credit card. It should be proper functioning. Because if you have charging through credit cards, you'll get the money. You have to collect all the receipts in one day and submit it to your bank. You know the process. You have done EIS. You know the process of working of credit cards, paying through credit cards. So we have to check the credit card receipts, especially because there is a chance of income leakage over there. There could be some receipts getting lost. Right? So there could be a problem like this. Physical records are not available. When you pay the bill through credit card, the hotel manager keeps one receipt with him and gives customer copy to you. So the one which he keeps it with himself, that could get lost. There should be proper control mechanism over the safety and custody of those receipts. The auditor should ensure that proper valuation of occupancy in progress at the balance sheet date is made and included in the accounts. Occupancy in progress is what? 31st March. We cannot tell guest, please vacate the hotel. This is closing. 31st March, please vacate the hotel. This is closing. If a guest is over there, he has checked for 2 days. So one day would fall in the previous year and another day would fall in next year. So we have to account for the occupancy in progress accordingly, right? Inventories, just read with me. Inventories in any hotel are both readily portable and saleable, particularly the food and beverage inventories. So their movement and transfer of such inventories should be properly documented. When was the toiletries and other items in this room changed? What was the wastage? What were the unused inventories? What was done to them? So each individual store areas and sales point. The auditor need not go to every room and check. He just has to check the control maintained. Control maintained by the hotel staff over this inventory. He needs to carry out just a simple tests and document his results. Areas where large quantities of inventory are held should be kept logged, the key being retained by the departmental manager. So I entered the hotel, right? So internal control I checked. My first point. Second point, I went to my room for a nap. Again, I went to my room for a nap. Okay. Room sales. Second point. Third point, when I entered the room, I checked for all the amenities being provided by the hotel. Food stuff, the packed chips, the beverages in the bar, right? The snacks items kept in the room, the toiletries kept in the loo, the bathroom, the stationery kept at the office table. So I checked for all these things, whatever luxuries or basic needs they are providing. So the third point is inventory. Just go as per the flow. You're checking into an hotel. First point, internal control. Second point, you went to the room sales. Third point, you check all the items, inventories. And the key of such stores where large quantity is capped should be given to trusted personnel only and not to everyone. Under proper authority, unauthorized persons should not get key or access to enter these areas. And a proper log should be maintained. A proper log should be maintained from the goods inflow and outflow, in and out in these areas. Many hotels use specialized valuers to take the value of the inventories on a continuous basis. Yes, completely fine. Throughout the year, taking the help of an expert, professional valuers, fine, we would refer their valuation. We would rely on the report of the expert. And if you have any doubt, we can do our own working to check what the value of closing stock was in his report. If we have any doubt relating to this valuation, we can definitely do our own working. Right? These valuers are usually independent of the hotel client. We have to check for their independence. The auditor should consider attending the physical inventory taking and carry out certain pricing and calculation tests. Quite normal, physical inventory taking. Srishti, you have to account for it, na? If a booking has been made for the day falls in another year, you have to deduct it from the receipts of the previous year, right? You should show it received in advance in the balance sheet, and in the next year you should utilize that advance and appropriate it towards the receipt of next year. Okay. Fixed assets, very simple point. Check for the accounting policies with respect to fixed assets on hotels. Okay. Many hotels account for certain quasi-fixed assets, which are kind of crockery as well as quasi-fixed, like silver, cutlery. Okay, we should ask the hotel, how are they maintaining it? At what valuation are they maintaining it? Okay, what has been categorized into a normal fixed asset? What is the quasi-fixed asset? And what is cutlery? Right? And whatever policy the hotel has laid, it is being followed properly with regard to these assets. We should vouch for the cost of repairs and minor renovations. If there are minor renovations, they have been charged to profit and loss account. If there are major renovations, they have been capitalized accordingly. And cash and bank to be checked. Then this is what I was in my room. I checked the inventories. Then I came for the lunch in the restaurant. I checked all the fixed assets, the cutlery maintained by the hotel, the chairs, the tables, the sofa placed in the restaurant. So I checked the fixed assets. The fourth point. First point is internal control at the reception. Second point, room. Third point, inventories. Fourth point, I came for the lunch at the ground floor or the first floor, wherever the restaurant is. Fourth point is fixed assets. Fifth point, I went to the restaurant for my lunch and I see there is a party being organized in the banquet hall just adjacent to the restaurant. So what would I check? We should ensure proper records maintained for the booking of halls and other premises. So for all the bookings, right, proper records are being maintained. What was the advance amount charged? What is balance? Any discounts given? Was the food included or it was just rent? What other amenities were provided as per the tariff structure? As far as the restaurant is concerned, we should check a few restaurant bills, counterfoils maintained with the point of sales, with the restaurant manager by referring to the KOTs, kitchen order tickets. What is the kitchen order ticket? I go to the reception of the restaurant. I pay my expense, right, for the food. They issue me a receipt. They issue me a bill and a receipt. Please hand over this receipt at this particular window. They'll serve you your food. That is a kitchen order ticket, which is kept by them in the kitchen. And they are tallied with the point of sales records on a daily basis to check for any leakage, right? So this would enable the auditor to check whether revenue cycles are in order. Then after getting out from the restaurant, I see so much of staff moving here and there. The restaurant staff, the room attendants, the sweepers, the room cleaners. So we should understand what we should, as an auditor, we need to understand that there is a difference between permanent staff and casual labor. We asked the hotel that on what basis do you employ casual labor? So we should check their wage payments. There should not be any defalcation. What could be the defalcation? Payments made in arbitrary names, ABC names, right? And actually those people don't exist in casual labor. We could check a few salary payments with the cash book, with the records maintained, and with the payments made to those people. We can use analytical procedures. What were the salary and wages payment in the last year, in the last month, in the last quarter, and what is being paid in the last season, the vacation season, the holiday season. We can always use ARPs. Okay. Then just a second. I'll come to the doubts after this, right? Travel agents and shops. So what do? Travel agents and shops, you could find some, in five-star hotels, you find these souvenir shops. There are some areas allotted to travel agents so that they could help you plan your travel, plan your tour. They book taxis for you, they book guides for you, and the hotel charges them on royalty basis or rent basis. So for ledgers, or they, even those are the travel agents who are responsible for the hotel bookings as well. So hotels might be charging them and hotels might be giving them commission as well. That is a two-way process. For ledgers coming through travel agents or other booking agencies, the bills usually made on travel agents or booking agencies. So proper recovery is there, proper payment is there, and if any TDS needs to be deducted, it has been taken care of. right? Commission, if any, paid to travel agents or booking agents will be checked by reference to the agreement. What rate? What amount? Is there any cap? Is there any slab? And when spaces have been let out to such person, agreement entered into them should be checked, and it should be ensured that the collection received from them under such agreement are properly accounted for. So the last point was travel agent and shops, right? So internal controls, room sales, inventories, fixed assets, restaurant and banquet halls, casual labor and staff expenses, travel agents and shops. Okay. Manish will have to go by the valuation by the professional valuer. Hotels, if they are getting it valued from different professionals, we cannot ask them, the hotel cannot take a different course of valuation. Ayush, let me see. Ayush, can you tell me the point number? Where is it re-maintained? Yes, Rishti, I'll come to your doubt for sure. Can you please, Ayush, tell me the point? Okay, educational institution. Very simple. We all have studied in schools, colleges. Very simple. General considerations, again, like charitable institution, trust rate, right? Regulations. Okay. And we check if it is under a university act. Minutes of the meeting of the managing committee, the governing body, general consideration like charitable institution. Again, just recall what we did in charitable institution. It's the same course of flow. So what do we need to check? Second, income, receipt from students, admission fee with admission fee counterfoils, whether they have been put in the capital fund. They have to be put in the capital fund maintained by the educational institution, and unless and until the managing committee has taken a decision to the contrary that this particular fee should be credited to this fund. Okay. Then monthly check, monthly registers maintained, and the student free register for each month or term, class registers. This all has to be done on test basis. Okay, I'll come to that point. Okay, I'll come to that point, Ayush. I'll come to that point after this, right? Okay, Vrinda, I'll come to your doubt as well. Fees by covered received by comparing counterfoils or receipts. So you have to check the admission fee, whether it has been credited to the proper fund. Then the student free registers, then the cash book, tallied with the cash book, right? And arithmetical accuracy, total up the various columns being maintained. Usually they are maintained by hand, physical books, okay? And fines, late payments, etc. have been collected or remitted under proper authority. If they have been waived, or if they are being collected, they are being collected under proper authority. Right? Okay. So what could be other miscellaneous receipts? Hostel receipts, very normal. Rental receipts, what could be rental receipts? You have, with the educational institution, you have a ground, or you have given one of the rooms or one of the halls for canteen purposes, cafe in the college, right? And income from your investments. Normal points, quite normal points, miscellaneous receipts, hostel receipts, rent, and investments. You have to check the hostel receipts with the hostel register. For the students, you can check it with the students' fee for the whole year. What was the hostel fee? What was the other charges? What was the admission fee? You can just have to tally it from there. Test checking, sampling basis. So we also donate money to educational institutions. The educational institutions get grants from the universities with which they are associated, right? We have to check it with whatever grants they are getting, the bank accounts, the physical records maintained, the proper authority letters. Okay, we have, or the educational institution had organized a fair and it asked for a grant. It submitted for grant to the government or to the university. What expenses were allowed and what were disallowed? Have they been properly accounted for? Right? Investments, same point. Investments representing endowment funds. Some school educational institutions maintain endowment funds. They invest it and the income gets on accrediting to it, right? Increasing the value of the investment, and they are meant to be utilized for the prizes to be given annually or on different occasions. Okay, so this is the point related to investments. Quite simple and repeating points. Authorization and sanctions. Capital expenditure should be authorized in the proper authority. You are maintaining the school building, yeah, renovation, getting it renovated. You want to get renovated a room into the form of a cafe or canteen, whatever it is. You want to maintain, purchase a new vehicle for the school, for the college, everything, air conditioners. The capital expenditure should be authorized in the proper sanction. And if you feel there is any undue heavy expenditure which was not required, you should bring it to the knowledge of the management. Okay, and if there are any scholarships or concessions being given to students, they have been given as per the policy laid out by the management. Relating to staff payments, the provident fund money and everything is being properly taken care of, being deducted at proper rates, right? And being made deducted as per the increase or decrease in salaries. Assets, normal points, verification of assets, this is all related to, you can find any part you take up in education institution, this is all just common, you have to relate it with the education institution, right? So inventories of furniture, stationery, clothing, all equipment, checking it with inventory register or corresponding inventories of the previous year, opening stock, closing, and inspect them physically as well. Confirm that liabilities, confirm that the caution money and other deposits paid by students on admission have been shown as liability in the balance sheet and not transferred to reserve or revenue unless they are not refundable. So what is caution money? Can anybody tell me what is caution money? We'll break in 5 minutes, please. What is caution money? Caution money is kind of a security deposit, right? Okay, so if it is a refundable deposit, it should not be transferred to revenue. It should be shown as a liability because you have to refund it. It is your liability, the educational institution's liability. And if it is non-refundable, then definitely you need to check what does the policy say. You have to credit it to some fund or you have to take it as a revenue. Finally, the internal controls. Any heavy arrears on account of fees, the student is still studying, the fees is being not recovered, no notices being issued, or rents not being paid by the students, right? You have to report it to the managing committee. What is the issue? Why are you not collecting rent from the students? This is a list of students whose fees is in arrears since long time. What steps have you taken for the same? Verify annual statements of different accounts. And if they have maintained account statements for different funds, Poor Boys Fund, Games Fund, Hostel and Provident Fund, these are all different funds, and you check and verify, vouch for these statements. Electricity, water bills, and capital fund, whether you have did any amount to the capital fund or deducted any amount from the capital fund and on what account. So any increase or decrease in the corpus, the capital fund of the institution, it should be taken care of. Yes, Rishti, right. Caution money, kind of security deposits. Okay, fine. So general consideration, then what is important in an educational institution? The students and the staff. Okay, the staff, we pay salaries, provident funds, like students, the admission fee, the education fee, and miscellaneous receipts are what? Hostel, rent, investments. What are the other incomes to an educational institution? It could be grants, donations, and investments is a common point. Then we talk about expenditure, proper capital expenditure recorded, sanctioned, revenue expenditure, and concessions given to students. Then we come to assets, liabilities, and internal controls. So you just feel yourself standing in the middle of a school and just look around. Students, teachers, right? Grants being received, building getting constructed, assets, students, liabilities, caution money, okay, internal controls, management, teachers walking over there, investments made by the school. All these points you'll be recollecting, and thus your answer is framed. Okay. Yes, yes, you're right. Everyone knows caution money. Okay, next 5 minutes for this cinema halls. Very short topic, right? Okay. Or you want a break now? Okay, let's break for 5 minutes. Let's take a break for 10 minutes, right? 10 minutes. Fine. It's 7:32. Just get back by 7:40. 8 minutes break. Just get back by 7:40. Okay. So two short topics left: cinema hall, hospital. Sorry, three. Hire purchase, very short topics. And then we'll finish with cooperative societies. Ayazji? Okay. So we are back, guys. That this point, just a second. Okay, so right. This was the point you people were confused at. This is a typo error. It is not re-maintained, it is R-maintained. Okay? Not re-maintained, it is R-maintained. The auditor should ensure that proper records are maintained for booking of halls, not re-maintained. Please be informed. Ayush, Arihant. Okay. So Hasi asked me, travel agent and shops are related to hotels where audit is being conducted. No, it is not necessary. There could be hotels on initiative or they could be third parties as well, Suhasi. Manish, is there any problem if hotel owner charges less from its relatives because he's doing? It is completely fine on hotel owner's part, but it is not fine on the manager or the employee's part. Okay? It is completely fine on the owner or the owner's part, but not fine on the employee's part. Unless and until authorized for the same, given that perk. Quasi assets, somebody asked me, quasi assets are, you can take it as fixed assets as well, or as your inventory, not inventory, or your, you can say some kind of cutlery, right? So cutlery is what you can take it is as your consumable. You can put it in any category. You usually the hotels take it as quasi assets with shorter life. So you have to ask the particular hotel what policy is it meeting, like the silver cutlery. It's kind of quite expensive. It is. They might treat it as an asset. So you can go it either way. Treat it either way. Okay, hotels usually treat it as quasi assets. Let's move ahead. Cinema hall. We all have okay, before the 1.5 year back, we all went to cinema halls and watched movies. Now we all have become habitual of the OTT platform. So cinema hall. Again, like the hotel part, internal controls. So you have to verify the internal control mechanism, the entrance to the cinema hall by showing printed tickets only. The tickets are serially numbered. Okay. Number of tickets issued for each show and each class should be separate. Okay. For the same day. Okay. And advance booking, a separate series of tickets is given to advance booking, and the inventory of tickets is kept, counterfoils kept in the custody of a responsible official. Whenever you pay for a ticket and you get a ticket, they keep one copy with themselves and give one copy to you, another copy, right? After the end of the show, a statement of tickets is sold is prepared and cash or online payment collected against it is tallied with. If there are any free passes, you should reconcile it with the tickets, the collection, and they have been issued under proper authority. Now it is not there. Reconcile the amount of entertainment collected with the total number of tickets issued. Now it is not there. Kind of an entertainment tax. You have to reconcile the amount of taxes collected. And returns are filed each month. Vouched for the entries in the cash book in respect of cash collected on sale of tickets with daily statements. Quite normal points. Quite normal. Advertisements, we all see advertisements. The national anthem is not an advertisement, it actually played in the start. Then during the interval, a lot of advertisements played on the screen. They get payment for it, right? So charges collected for the advertisement. This could be the local advertisements related to the city in which the hall is situated, or it could be advertisement related to anything. A global company, a domestic company, a vendor in your area, right? So we have to check how are these advertisements shown, what is the rate charged, and we have to check it with the register of slides and shots exhibited during the intervals before the start of movie. What is the expenditure incurred on advertisements and promotional campaigns so that the hall is actually making profit out of it? They should not have been capitalized. If they have been made for advertisements, a surplus should be there and that surplus should be recognized in its profit and loss, but the expenditure should not be capitalized. So there are restaurants in the cinema hall, stalls over there. How is the restaurant income accounted for? So do you charge a fixed sum from the restaurant or royalty basis, right? It could be owned by the cinema hall. It could be outsourced to any other food vendor. In case the restaurant is run by cinema, its accounts should be checked and audit should cover sale of various items of foodstuffs. How is the foodstuff purchased? Everything. Like in the case of a club. Fixed assets, normal fixed asset register mentioned, depreciation charge, expenditure, repair, maintenance, quite normal points. Right? Agreement with the distributors. This is a very important point. So what is your agreement with the distributor? Is the income and the payment being accounted for accordingly? Right? If any unadjusted balance out of advance paid, okay, read this point with me, examine unadjusted balance out of advance paid to the distributors against film hire contracts to see that they are good and recoverable. They have paid some advance to the distributors to get film showing rights, right? If any film in respect of which an advance was paid has already run, it should be inquired as to why the advance has not been adjusted. If you have booked for a particular film to be shown in your cinema hall, you have paid any advance and that film has already been run by the hall, you should ask why the advance has not been adjusted against the payment. It should be shown as paid, as show rights, purchase of show rights. Okay, and if these advances are irrecoverable, they have been paid, there is no refund, there is no hope of getting them back, a provision should be made that they are irrecoverable. If they are being irrecoverable without making any efforts, the management should be asked to make a provision in respect of advances that are considered irrecoverable. So this was it. Internal controls, receipts from shows, advertisements, income from restaurants and stalls, fixed assets, agreement with the distributors. Okay, hospital. I wish nobody ever gets to visit a hospital unless he or she is a professional doctor. But when you audit, if you get the opportunity during your articleship to audit a hospital, what would you see? Quite common points. Register of patients, right? You'll vouch the register of patients with copies of bills issued to them. Patients' attendance record, definitely. Just keep in mind charitable institution and educational institution. You'll be able to correlate the hospital points. Bills have been properly prepared and bifurcated into room rent charges, service charges, and medicine payments. Proper bifurcation should be there. There should not be a lump sum payment. Okay. Proper bills should have been issued to all the patients. If collected in cash, cash book to be tallied with the copies of patients' bills, counterfoils, right? Receipts of OPD and IPT are being accounted as per the policy of the hospital, and separate registers to be maintained. What is OPD and IPD? Anyone? What is OPD and IPD? OPD is outpatient department. IPD is inpatient department. Patients who have been admitted in the hospital is IPD. OPD is patient who come to the hospital, right, for consultation. That is OPD, outpatient, who is not admitted, given consultancy, medicines, and then he goes back. Legacies, grants, and donations, we have done it in charitable institution, educational institution. Subscriptions, hospital subscription, you do subscribe to hospitals, right? Again, we have done it in club, charitable institution. Income from investments, inventories. Inventories are stocks and stores, the machines, the medicines, right? The consumables, cotton, spirit, vials, injection vials. Okay, we have to check them physically and check their ledger balances as well. Taxation, whether the hospital is eligible for income tax exemption. If it is registered as a trust, it is not charging much. It is for social service, community hospitals, Red Cross hospitals. You should check. Either it is a corporate hospital or it is for the well-being of the people, social service being done. Whether it is eligible for income tax exemption, otherwise it is taxed as per the constitution. If it is a company, it's a partnership firm or a sole proprietor, you have to tax it accordingly. Normal points. Yes, you all know OPD and IPD, really good. So patients and almost common points. Patients, collection of cash, legacies, grants and donations, subscriptions, income from investments, inventories, taxation, right? Internal controls, authorization and sanctions, fixed assets, quite common points. This is the last short topic, and I think we have covered all the points coming through all over here to our hospital. So I don't think we need to repeat these points. Quite common, and we've done all of them. A hospital, right? Okay. The last short topic of the day, hire purchase and leasing companies. So we all know what is hire purchase, where you let goods on hire, and the hirer, the person who takes the goods on hire, has an option to purchase them in accordance with the terms of the agreement. So who is an hirer? He is the person who obtains or has obtained possession of goods from an owner under a hire purchase agreement. I'll be paying you rentals, and at the end of the hire purchase agreement, I'll buy the asset from you. Owner is the other party. Okay. And in order to complete the purchase or acquisition of the property to which the agreement relates, a hire purchase contract is made. Okay. Includes every sum paid in lump sum at the end or rental payments made. Hire purchase agreements contains what terms and condition? Possession of goods is delivered by the owner thereof to a person on condition that such person pays the agreed amount in periodical installments. Right? The property in the goods is to pass to such person on payment of last installment. I suppose you might have done hire purchase in your accounts module. Such person has the right to terminate the agreement at any time before the property so passes. So possession of goods is delivered by the owner to a person. So the hirer, right, he has the option to terminate the agreement as per the terms and conditions. If the TNC allow, he can anywhere terminate the agreement before the property has passed on to him. What is the auditor's consideration while checking hire purchase company's accounts? So we have to check. We usually hire machines, right? We usually hire machines. So the hire purchase form should be proper. Hire agreement particulars. The goods in the agreement are actually what the goods have been put on hire. It should not be like you are giving some machinery on hire and on paper it is written about some physical structure, building. Buildings are usually taken on leases, right? The cash price of the goods, the price at which goods may be purchased. So you all know about the hire purchase price. You all know about the hire purchase price, the cash price of the machine. You have done these concepts. The date on which agreement commenced, number of installments, the rate of interest, and the installments are being received regularly. There is no break. This is hire purchase. What is a lease? There is a lessee and there is a lessor. This is an agreement. Yes, Arihant. Oh, that is that fancy dress shops. The fancy dresses were let on hire. Kind of short commercial initiatives. Kind of short. Not that ready to trade. What level we are talking about, right? We are talking about machineries and something else. They charge an amount and they return it back. Okay. So this is not, that is on rent. Hire purchase is something, if you pay in installments, at the end, the owner says, keep this dress. Okay. So lessee acquires the right to use an asset for an agreed period of time in consideration of payment of rent. Buildings, lands, machineries, coal mines, they are leased. They are leased out. In certain lease agreements, the legal ownership of the asset remains with the lessor. And it is usually in almost all the lease agreements. But its substance, all the risks and rewards of ownership are transferred to the lessee. But obvious, he's maintaining the machinery, he's maintaining the asset, the risk and rewards transferred to him. In other words, lease is a financing arrangement. Such leases are termed as finance leases. Like you purchase a car. A car purchase is a hire purchase or lease. If it is related to a transportation company, it could be lease. If it is your own private car, it could be on hire purchase as well. What are operating leases? Operating lease, we are coal operating mines. Right? There could be coal mines, operating leases. You'll operate the mine. You'll get the mineral extracted. And the arrangement could be anything. It could be a lease rent, it could be royalty. So, operating lease is a simple arrangement where in return for rent, you get the right to use the asset. But in a financing arrangement, yes, lease is done for land heavy equipment, really good. In a financing arrangement, what is it? You just lease the asset and pay in installments. So we have in your module, AS19 defines lease agreements as financial lease and operating lease. Quite common. You have done AS19 on leases. You should understand the difference between finance lease and operating lease. It is in their module, right? So what is the modality, the procedure? Lessee selects the equipment, satisfies himself about its functional fitness and specifications, and the lessor has no participation at this stage. Right? So lessee selects the equipment, satisfies himself Then after choosing the equipment, lessee approaches lessor through directly or through a lease broking agency. Lease agreement is negotiated, rates are finalized, right? Equipment is delivered. Take the example of machinery on the site of the lessee, and the letter gives the note of acceptance. The lessee gives a note of acceptance that I accept the machinery. The lease agreement is drafted, the contract is signed, okay, and leases will normally be full payout with term varying as per requirements. The terms could vary for 12 years. The flats are leased out for 99 years in metro towns. During the lease period, the lessee will pay rentals as agreed upon monthly, keep the equipment in good repair and working condition, and will be entitled to warranties and after-sale services by the manufacturer. At the end of the period, equipment shall retreat to the lessor. Lessor will take back the equipment. Lessee may be given a chance if you want to purchase the equipment, or if you want to renew the rights, you can. If the lessor has the intention of selling it, he can even sell it. It is not there in the lease agreement. The purchasing option is not there in the lease agreement. It is at the end of the agreement period that the lessor may give the option of purchasing the asset to the lessee. Otherwise, he can take back the asset or he can renew the leasing rights. What are the auditor's considerations? He should take the object clause for which the leased asset will be used. Right? It should not be used for anything else. The lease agreement completely lays down the object clause for which the asset has to be reused. Okay? And there should be a proper mechanism to check the credit analysis of lessee from time to time, so that there should not be any default. Proper control should be there. His credit worthiness be checked, capital strength be checked, net worth reports be prepared, proper collateral securities there. The lease agreement should be examined on the points of the lessor and lessee details and the equipment details, the amount of the lease, the tenure of the lease, dates of payment, right? Then whether the equipment shall be returned to the lessor on termination, and whether the lessee can sublet the equipment or not. These are the points we have to check as per the lease agreement. Lease proposal form to be checked. Invoice of lease rent is properly retained as it is a long-term contract. Acceptance letter obtained from the lessee that he accepts the asset. Lease agreement starts. Board resolution on the leasing company's board that lease agreement has been executed with the lessee, and insurance policies taken in respect of the leased asset. Right? How is royalty audit differ from lease audit? Royalty is a different thing. Royalty and lease are just an arrangement of income, right? Lease is what? It is a fixed income. Royalty is based upon production. So on that criteria only they differ. Okay, we are done with all the short topics. Okay. Now let's move to the last topic of our chapter, that is cooperative societies. So cooperative, any doubts till now, please? Any doubts till now? We'll start with cooperative societies. Okay, let's move ahead. Cooperative societies. As the name suggests, cooperative. also known as cooperative with a hyphen, co-op or coop, autonomous association of persons united voluntarily to meet their common economic, social, and cultural needs and aspirations through a jointly owned enterprise. This enterprise is corporate. Amul started as a cooperative society. It started as a small group, self-help group, and it is an example of a cooperative society. Okay. Cooperative society is a business organization with special mode of doing business, pulling together all means of production cooperatively. You just keep the example of Amul in mind while reading cooperative, right? Elimination of middlemen and exploitation from outside sources. Okay, just start wondering about the story. One day, group of women sitting, Bimla, Kamla, Suchila, come over here. Yes, we'll start our own business of milk and milk products. Okay, so we'll hire this person, we'll take this person, let us divide duties. One person will do the marketing, another person will do this. Why do we need to be dependent upon the middlemen? We can take our own lead. That is how that particular society came into existence, with the cooperation of each other, an autonomous body, not dependent upon anyone, on its own. That is the point of mutual assistance. Okay, mutual assistance. So these are subject to rules as per the Cooperative Societies Act, a central act, and states have also been authorized to pass their state acts. Punjab, Maharashtra, they all have their state Cooperative Societies Act as well. Okay, see, in many states, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Odisha, the cooperative societies are governed by specific state acts. As I told you in the previous sessions as well, no need to write down anything. These slides, these this presentation is notes in itself. So whatever direct questions asked from this chapter, you can always refer to the slides. I've written those points, right? Bear with me on that our maintained and re-maintained point in that hotel part. But these have been written in such a manner that you can write them as answers in your exams. Okay. So this is something which is very general. I'll not take much time on this. The last point. The capital of a cooperative society is raised from its members in the form of share capital. In the form of share capital, right? As the share capital is not sufficient to meet the operational cost, it borrows loans from government or apex cooperative organization. The other cooperative organization from the government, right? There could be different levels in the organization. So they take loans from the government. Initially, cooperative organizations were self-help groups. So they became cooperatives, cooperative banks, cooperative societies that all work on the function of cooperative. In cooperative society, each member is given one vote, irrespective of the number of shares held by him. So cooperative societies also issue share capital. Okay. And unlike companies, the voting is irrespective of the number of shares. Nobody can control society based on this share capital. Just a 1 minute break. I think there is some issue with it. Just a minute. Just a second, sir. There was some technical glitch. I'm starting again. We are live now? Yes. Okay. Okay. Fine. So let's move ahead. Audit of a cooperative society. So audit is done as per section 17. Audit is done as per section 17 of Cooperative Societies Act 1912. Again, registrar. We had the registrar in partnership firms. In the case of LLP, which registrar do we have? Registrar of companies. In the case of companies, registrar of companies. In partnership firms, registrar of firms. In cooperative society, registrar of cooperative societies. Right? The registrar shall audit or cause to be audited by some person authorized by him by general or special order in writing all the accounts of a registered society once at least in every year. So the registrar shall cause the audit to be conducted by some person authorized by him. A general order could be there or special order could be there. What should the audit include? As usual, examination of overdue debts. Usually the societies give debts to their members. Valuation of assets and liabilities. The registrar, the collector, or any person by order in writing shall have access to all books, accounts, normal as an auditor. The registrar, so you just keep in mind CAG, right? CAG appoints persons to audit the account, similar way registrar appoints the person to audit cooperative societies. So registrar is the person appointed to perform the duties of a registrar of cooperative societies under this act. Okay. What is the role of a chartered accountant? A chartered accountant has to play a significant role in the development of cooperative organizations on scientific lines. What are those scientific lines? Audit as well as guidance in accounts writing, normal, installation of accounting system. Namrata, not company registrar. Company registrar is for companies and LLPs. Registrar of firms for partnership firms. This registrar is separate. This is registrar of cooperative societies. Different authority. Internal audit, management accounting services, taxation. So what points do we need to keep in mind with respect to the audit of a cooperative society? Okay, very easy part. Audit of a cooperative society. You have to refer your study mat for this. Qualification of auditors, appointment of the auditor, books, accounts, and other records, restrictions on shareholdings, restrictions on loans, restrictions on borrowings, investment of funds, contribution to charitable purposes, investment of reserve fund outside the business, contribution to education fund, appropriation of profits. So let's move to module audit of a cooperative society. What points do you need to keep in mind? Okay, so this is your module. Yes. Here we go. Qualification of auditors. Apart from chartered accountants, within the meaning of Chartered Accountants Act, some of the state cooperative acts have permitted persons holding a government diploma in a cooperative accounts or in a cooperation and accountancy, and also a person who has served as an auditor in the cooperative department of a government as an auditor. So apart from chartered accountants, some of the state cooperatives, some of the states give this right to other persons as per this qualification to audit the accounts of the cooperative societies registered with them. Who appoints the auditor of a cooperative society? Registrar of cooperative societies, and the auditor so appointed, but obvious, on behalf of the registrar submits his report to him, also to the society. Okay, so the auditor has to submit his report to him. who has appointed the auditor, and also to the society. Audit fees has to be paid by the society as per the guidelines and the scale fixed by the registrar, as per the category of the society. So registrar maintains categories of societies. As per the category of the society, fees is paid. Books, accounts, and other records of cooperative societies, right? Central Act, State Acts frame rules with respect to books and accounts. Okay. For example, they have given the example of Maharashtra. Cooperative societies are required to maintain books of accounts in terms of instructions of the registrar. All sums of money received and expended by the society. So what are the receipts? What have they expended? And what are the matters in which the expenditure was made? All sales and purchases of goods by the society. Assets and liabilities of society. Normal points, very normal points. We keep books with respect to these things only. There's nothing special, right? Okay. Again, they have to disclose full working results and such additional records they can maintain at their own liberty, right? And what else they can make different subsidiary files like daily cash sales summary register, a register of collection from debtors if they make credit sales, a register of recovery of loans, loan disbursement register, any other subsidiary registers. Fourth point, restriction on shareholdings. Central Act says that in a society, so again, this particular figure dates back to old era. You would say, sir, 1000 paise kya hota hai? So just, this is quite an old act. So as per the Central Act, in the case of a society where the liability of a member of the society is limited, no member of a society other than the registered society can hold such portion of the share capital of the society as would exceed a maximum of 20% of the total number of the shares or the value of the shareholding to ₹1,000. So where the liability of a member of a society is limited, it is a limited society, right? They are formed on the same basis as the corporates, but the constitution is different as the cooperative societies. Okay, so there is a a member. Either he can hold the value of shareholding up to the value of ₹1,000 in case of unlimited societies, or up to maximum of 20%. They don't want to take any risk. But this is not applicable to a shareholder who is another registered cooperative society, because that is registered. So there is security. But when it is a person and it is an unlimited society, a particular person cannot hold shareholding more than ₹1,000 or 20% of the total number of shares or of the total value of shareholding of ₹1,000. Right? Okay. They have to maintain it on accrual basis, but they can maintain on cash basis as well. Anybody can maintain books on that basis, but as far as the laws are concerned, accrual basis only. The auditor should consider this breach. If this is some breach, he has to narrate it in his audit report, right? State acts may provide limits as to shareholding other than that provided by the Central Act. Restriction on loans, Section 29 of the Central Act. So this is an act at the central level, right? They put restriction on loan. It states that a registered society shall not make a loan to any person other than a member. So third parties loans not allowed. But if the registrar gives special sanction, it can make a loan to another registered society and not a third person. Full security is required. You cannot give loan to another person, third person, just accept your member. If it is some third entity, it could be another registered society to whom a society can give a loan, and that too with the special sanction of the registrar. The state government can further put restrictions. Section 29 gives restriction on loans. Section 30 on borrowings by a cooperative society. A registered society shall accept loans and deposits from persons who are not members, subject to the restriction and limits of the bylaws of the society. The management has fixed the bylaws, the members and management, and they can borrow money from persons other than members as per those bylaws. If the bylaws allow, only then, and the bylaws have capped the amount as per up to that amount. Investment of funds, very important point. According to Section 32 of the Central Act, a society may invest its funds in any one or more of the following: central or state cooperative bank, any of the securities specified in Section 20 of the Indian Trust Act, in shares, securities, bonds, and debentures of any society with limited liability, not limited, unlimited liability. Society with the limited liability. In a cooperative bank, state cooperative bank, or wherever central or state government allows. So this could be a correct, incorrect. Just note it down. This could be a correct, incorrect, or a separate standalone question as well. Okay. Appropriation of profit is quite simple, as we've done in the case of companies. The societies, they earn surplus, and a proper percentage of profits should be transferred to the reserve fund as per the law governing the society, state law, central law, before dividing dividend or bonus to members. Okay. Further, contribution to charitable purpose. Again, Section 34. With the sanction of the registrar. If you want to do charity, you have to take the special sanction of the registrar. You can contribute an amount not exceeding less than equal to 10% of the net profits, remaining after transferring to reserves. So you have to appropriate the profits by mandatory transfer to reserves as per the act governing the cooperative society. After this appropriation, whatever profit is there, before dividing dividend and distributing dividend and bonus, you can contribute to charitable purposes, but less than equal to 10%, not more than 10% of this amount. Investment reserve fund outside the business or utilization as working capital. Some of the state acts provide that the reserve fund can be utilized in the business of the society as working capital, could be invested as per the provisions we have read above, or may be used for some public purposes like to promote the object of society. But complete compliance with state act and central act should be there. Contribution to education fund. So some of the state acts provide that the societies should contribute annually to the state education funds as per the class of the society. So contribution to education fund is a charge on profits and not an appropriation. What is the difference between charge and appropriation? Charge is allowable expense as per profit and loss. Appropriation is after profit, before profit after tax, right? After you get to profit after tax level, then you make appropriations before dividing the surplus. Just be, I suppose you're well aware of the difference between charge on profits and appropriation of profits. Okay. So that was regarding the points. That was regarding the points to be kept in mind with respect to the audit of a cooperative society. These points you have to keep in mind. Now, special features of a cooperative audit. Special features of a cooperative audit. Here we go again from your module, special features of a cooperative audit. See, these are such a examination of overdue debts. This is a very important question. Overdue debts for a period from 6 months to 5 years and more than 5 years will have to be classified and reported by the auditor. Divide the debts, overdue debts. Yes, Ayush, cooperative society can constitute. Yes, Cooperative societies can work for the public upliftment. They can maintain funds for that as well. The cooperative societies have usually gained importance. Their birth is in the rural India. Examination of overdue debts. What are overdue debts? Debts which were due, their time has elapsed, and now after that time due date, they are overdue. We have now been able to recover them. So we have to classify these debts from 6 months to 5 years and more than 5 years. Accordingly, like you classify in the case of a company, the debtors, up to 6 months, more than 6 months. In the same way, over here, you have to classify the overdue debts, 6 months to 5 years class and more than 5 years category. So overdue debts will hamper the working. The working capital position would be affected, right? Yes, you all know about charge and appropriations. Good, really, really nice. So how does the working capital position get affected? Well, debts are usually, what are these? Small debts, right? Short-term debts, they affect the working capital position, current assets, current liabilities are increasing, and you're not able, current assets are increasing, but not in the form of cash, but book entries, book debts. Okay. So when the auditor analyzes the overdue debts, he uses analytical procedures, trend analysis, and works on the recoverability, the possibility of recovery of that particular debt, and get it classified as a good or bad, or provisions be made against doubtful debts. In the same manner, overdue debts, we have overdue interest. Overdue interest would be there on overdue debts as well as normal debts, where there was a time for service of interest, but interest was not served and the interest is overdue. So it should be excluded from interest outstanding and accrued due while calculating profit. Overdue interest should be excluded from the interest outstanding and accrued while calculating profit. So this is a very different point. What do we do? What the cooperative society do in this case? They exclude it while calculating income. Although it has accrued, but it has not been received. Right? Like we do in the case of NPAs in banks. It is not an NPA, but yes, we'll do exclude the overdue interest, right? And an overdue interest reserve is created. An overdue interest reserve is created when the interest is received. The overdue interest is that particular reserve is debited. First, it is credited with the interest and then it is reduced. Certification of bad debts. For example, Maharashtra state cooperative rules wants that bad debts can be written off only when they are certified bad by the auditor. So auditor has to certify bad debts. They could be written off. They would decrease the profits. So the particular Maharashtra state cooperative rule says that we need the certificate of an auditor. And now this certificate will also be requiring UDIN. Okay. Valuation of assets and liabilities, no specific provisions or instructions, right? You have to understand the auditor has to value the existence, ownership, values, all the assertions related to fixed assets, all the assertions. Normal point, general points, what we have done in verification of assets in Chapter 9. Adherence to cooperative principles. Auditor should ascertain that the objects, a cooperative society has its objects based upon cooperative principles. So the auditor has to ascertain that the cooperative organization is following all such principles, right? Not only in terms of expenses and profits, okay? Not only in this manner, but from the point of view, it is working, the benefit it is providing to its members, right? This is all what you can read about it. It is all based upon the cooperative principles. Okay. Observations of the provisions of the Act and rules. So the auditor has to check first under which act the cooperative society has been incorporated, what are the acts applicable on it, and if there is any deviation from the provisions of that particular act, he has to either bring it to the notice of the management and take action in his audit report as necessary. He may have to qualify his audit report. The particular act is not being followed, the provisions of the act are being done away with, are contravened. Verification of members' register and examination of their passbooks. Same thing as we've done in the case of a club. In the club, there was the fees for services and food expenses. Here, it is the loans given to the members. The loan received from the members, loan given to the members, repayments, confirmation of loan balances. All we have to do is check the member register and their passbooks and tally it with the cooperative records. Special report to the registrar, very important. During the course of the audit, if the auditor notices that there are some serious irregularities in the working of the society, right? He may report these special matters to the registrar, drawing his specific attention to the points. Registrar, on receiving this report, may take necessary action against the society. So what could be the instances where you might require reporting to the registrar? Personal profiteering by some of the members, like members of the managing committee. So prejudicial to the interest of other members, few members are resorting to personal profiteering. Could be pilferage, could be fraud. Detection of fraud relating to expenses, purchased property in stores of the society. Specific examples of mismanagement, the controls are weak. Decisions of management against cooperative principles, not working for cooperatively for all, but for one or two people. In the case of urban cooperative banks, disproportionate advances to vested interest groups, such as relatives of management, and deliberate negligence about the recovery thereof. The PMC Bank, Punjab and Maharashtra Cooperative Bank, if you know about that particular issue, disproportionate advances given more than they were eligible for, not eligible for. Audit classification of society. This point is very important, and this was a question in your exam just recently. After a judgment of an overall performance of the society, the auditor has to award a class to the society. As per the act, the auditor has been given with different classes and he has to award a class to the society. Okay? The criteria is fixed by the registrar. If the management of the society is not satisfied about the award of the audit class, it can make an appeal to the registrar, and the registrar may direct to review the audit classification. The auditor should be very careful by making a decision about the class of the society. So, auditor awards class to the society. If the society management is not satisfied with the class, because class brings many perks and benefits, exemptions as well, they can apply to the registrar for review. Registrar can get it reviewed as well, and registrar can sumo to change the class of the society on based upon such review. Discussion of the draft audit report with managing committee. Yes, it is in every audit, almost every kind of audit, you have to discuss the audit report with the managing committee. Minor irregularities may be settled and matters of policy could be discussed. What are the other points? There could be some serious points that should be discussed in detail with the society management and be considered in your audit report. Okay? So these are the points. Special features. These are the points to be kept in mind. And these are the special features of a cooperative audit. What we have done. So audit report and its form. Auditor has to state whether he has obtained all the necessary information, normal point. His opinion as required by the Act, Profit and loss gives true and fair view. Balance sheet gives true and fair view of the profit loss made. Balance sheet of the state of affairs. Proper books of accounts as required by the act applicable maintained. Whether balance sheet is and profit and loss in agreement with books maintained, and if there are any qualifications. This is what he has to state in his audit report. Form. On completion of audit, the auditor has to submit his audit report to the society and copies thereof to the respective authorities such as district special auditor, district deputy registrar, etc. The audit report has to be submitted in prescribed form as prescribed under the act or by the registrar, right? And in addition to the above, auditor will have to attach schedules. What kind of schedules? All transactions which appear to be contrary to the bylaws, all sums which ought to have been brought into account by the society, the sums which were to be brought into the society's accounts have not been. They have been kept idle or they have been kept in some other account. Any material or property belonging to the society which is found bad or doubtful, any material materiality you have to check. Any other matters specified by registrar. In case of nil report in any of the above matters, the auditor will have to give a nil report. He should say nil, nil, nil. And as per the form. Further, in addition to audit certificate in prescribed form and various schedules stated above, the auditor of a cooperative society has to answer two sets of questionnaire called as audit memos. The first set of audit memo or questionnaire is of general nature, applicable to all types of societies. General nature. What is the society into? What did you check? Who was the members? What is the principles? The second set for a particular type of society related to a society based on the basis of its constitution and object. And these serve the practical. Your audit program is basically based upon this particular second set of questionnaire. The first set is general. Second set is specific to the society. The audit report is in a narrative, not objective form, but narrative form. The auditor explains his observations and is also required to be submitted by the auditor to the chairman of the society. He has to submit it to the registrar as well as the chairman of the society. So the audit report is divided into two parts. The part one of the report is very important, throws light on comparative financial position, capital structure, solvency position, other profitability of the society, comments on the working of the society, future improvements. You can make paras, right? And para part 1 has got a consequential effect on the financial position of the society. Part 2 points out the observations of routine nature. So part 1 is really important, where the auditor suggests financial parameters. What were the shortcomings? What were the good things? What could be done? What were the mistakes? And part 2 is general, relating to controls and all. This is the audit report and its forms. So when a cooperative society work is not limited to one state, it has its offices and working in different states. It is called a multi-state cooperative society, MSCS. And it is governed by the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act at the central level. Right? Cooperative societies whose objects are not confined to one state. The Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act 2002 came into force on this date and governs the Multi-State Cooperative Society. So, Multi-State Cooperative Society have to maintain books. Again, same points. Sums of money received and expended, sale and purchase of goods, assets and liabilities, if engaged in production. So, this is an extra point. If engaged in production, processing and manufacturing, then books relating to utilization of material, labor, and other relevant items. Cost sheet. Material, labor, and other relevant items, direct expenses. If engaged in production, a cooperative society is engaged in production and it is a multi-state cooperative society. So for a multi-state cooperative society, again, qualification of auditors, appointment of auditor, powers and duties of the auditor, contents of the auditor report, These all you can refer to study mate, quite simple points these are. On one reading, you can very well get the knowledge of these points, almost on the same lines as we have done the audit of a normal cooperative society. What needs to be done is this: power of the central government to direct special audit in certain cases. Power of the central government to direct special audit in certain cases in case of a multi-state cooperative society. So when does the central government use this power to direct special audit? When the affairs are not being managed in accordance with prudent commercial practices, right? What could be the wisdom required? What could be the rational behavior to manage the affairs of the society? And nobody's paying a heed to that prudence. The affairs are being managed, but in a way that it would cause injury to the interest of trade or industry or business. It is hampering the competition. Okay? It could lead to an injury to the industry or trade to which its objects are related. And the third case, financial position is such as it would danger its insolvency. The cooperative society could crash at any time financially. So when the central government senses any of such reasons, it directs a special audit to take corrective actions at the right time. So special audit of a multi-state cooperative society under section 77. The central government may at any time by order direct a special audit to be conducted for such period or periods. Central government shall order for special audit only if that central government or the state government, either by itself or together, hold 51% or more of the paid up share capital in this multi-state cooperative society. If the government or these governments togetherly are holding less than 51% share capital, central government has no control and it cannot issue a special audit direction. Again, yeah, I agree, Jamil. So a chartered accountant is appointed. So for special audit, so who will appoint? Central government. If it wants to get the accounts audited, it may appoint a special chartered accountant. It may appoint a chartered accountant, or the multi-state cooperative society's auditor himself. So it could be a different auditor. The person who has audited the multi-state cooperative societies audits, he could be asked again to conduct a special audit, or the central government may appoint a different auditor who could be a chartered accountant. So the special auditor shall, instead of making his reports to the members, he'll make his report to the central government. Please note that point. In case of a normal audit, report is submitted to the registrar and to the chairman of the society. In case of special audit, central government appoints and report has to be submitted to the central government. Okay? And shall include all matters as directed by the central government. On receipt of this report of the special auditor, central government may take such action as it considers necessary. If the central government doesn't take any action within 4 months of the date of receipt of this special audit report, the government shall send to the multi-state cooperative society either a copy of or relevant extract with its comments and require the society to circulate this copy among its members and put it forward in the next general meeting, annual general meeting, right? General meeting. So either the government takes action. If it doesn't take action within 4 months, that's the time limit. It has to send this report or extracts from this report to the multi-state cooperative society, and the society has to circulate it among its members and put it before all the members in the general meeting. Expenses are decided by the central government and paid by the society, multi-state cooperative society itself, to the auditor. Now, this was special audit. Now is inquiry by a central registrar under section 78. In special audit is being ordered by central government. Inquiry is being conducted by central registrar. Central registrar is under the authority of central government, section 78. The central registrar on a request from, so for special audit, no request was required. But in case of inquiry, the central registrar takes this step on a request from a federal cooperative. A federal cooperative to which a multi-state cooperative society is affiliated, kind of a board, kind of an affiliation, federal, central state partnership. A creditor of the society, or not less than 1/3 of the members of the board, right? Not less than 1/5 of the total number of members. So, a federal cooperative or a creditor. Third is 1/3, at least 1/3 of the members of the board, or 1/5 of the total members of the society. So in these four people can request to the central registrar for an inquiry into the accounts of the society. So central registrar, how would he conduct the inquiry? He will direct some person or hold an inquiry himself or authorize some person by order in writing to inquire into the constitution, working and financial condition of the society on his behalf. And before conducting such inquiry and principles of natural justice, opportunity of being heard be given to the multi-state cooperative society. At least 15 days notice should be given. Right? Section 77, special audit, central government. Section 78, central registrar, inquiry. Right? These are the powers given to the auditor, to the person who carries on the conducts the inquiry. Reasonable access to books, accounts, right? He should be given the notice of general meeting. He may summon any person who he feels important to ask questions about the society. Now, this point is important. Follow up. The central registrar shall, within a period of 3 months from the date of the receipt of the report of this particular person who has conducted the inquiry, communicate this matter to the multi-state cooperative society and to the financial institutions as well, banks and other financial institutions to which the society is affiliated, its customer. The society has taken loan from such banks or financial institutions. Okay? So within 3 months of the receipt of report, because the central registrar may need to read the report, inquire upon certain things, certain facts, and it has 3 minutes with it. Within 3 months, a period of 3 months, by the end of 3 months, it has to send from the date of receipt of report 3 months to the multi-state cooperative society and the financial institutions to which the society is affiliated. The last part, inspection. Section 79. So section 77, special audit, central government. Section 78, inquiry, central registrar. Section 79, inspection, central registrar. So central registrar, again, federal cooperative, creditor, 1/3 members of the board and 1/5 of the total members of society. By general or on their request, may order inspection. By general or special order in writing in this behalf to inspect the constitution, working and financial condition. Inquiries is more of a serious matter. Inspection is a normal matter. 15 days notice again to be given to the society. Powers, access to all books, accounts, papers, and every officer or a multi-state cooperative for seeking information. Okay, so here the two powers which were given extra over here, like summon the person, period of notice of general meeting, it is not over here. Okay, Summon the person. Summon the person is over here, inquiry. All other powers are here. The third power, which was extra over here in the inquiry, it is not here. So that is why I said inquiry is more of a serious matter. Inspection is a normal matter. And inspection reports shall be submitted to the central registrar within a period of to the registrar, and again 3 months. The registrar has to send the report to the communicate the report to the multi-state cooperative society. Right? So the for the part of multi-state cooperative societies, these points which you are going to refer from the study mat are important, but the more important points with reference to multi-state cooperative society are these: special audit, inquiry, and inspection. And the other two important topics in cooperative societies are this: special features of a cooperative audit and points to be kept in mind with respect to the audit of a cooperative society. These three questions are really important in the topic of cooperative societies, and you have to do this from your module very beautifully given. Pointed, bulleted, right? Any doubts? We are done with the chapter. We are done with audit subject. Thank you so much for bearing with me for the extra time. We have finished our chapter. And someone asked me, sir, if you could please show us some previous year question papers. Here we are. So this is a question paper, I suppose. Okay. See, for 4 marks, you are appointed as an auditor of a cooperative society. Right? You are appointed as auditor of a cooperative society. State the special features of the cooperative audit to be borne in mind by the auditor concerning audit classification of society. 2 marks. Discussion of draft audit report with the managing committee. 2 marks. The points which we read from the module. So 2 marks for each part and 4 marks question. The next question, C. The audit of receipts of government is not as old as the audit of expenditure, but with the rapid growth of public enterprises, audit of receipts, tax or non-tax, has come to stay. Discuss audit of receipts with respect to government audit. Audit of receipts. After the audit of expenditure, 4 marks question. We have done audit of receipts. 5 to 6 points were there. Should I show you? Audit of receipts. 4 points. 4 marks question. Right? Okay. So let's move ahead. Yes. Here we go. So audit of receipts. Audit of receipts, right? 4 marks question. Okay. Explain the different types of revenue grants which local bodies may receive. 3 marks question. And next question, also see this. What is the function of audit while examining various rules, regulations, and orders with regard to audit against rules and orders by C and AG? See, so audit against rules and orders, right? Audit against rules and orders. So here we go. Audit against rules and orders. 4 points we have. and kind of grants by local bodies. So here we have this local bodies, this types of grants received: general purpose grants, specific purpose grants, and statutory and compensatory grants. 3 marks question. I hope you can find them all in the notes. This is, I'm showing you questions from your past exams. Just a second. Okay, right? I'll show you another paper. See, as an auditor of an NGO, right? How do you check, verify at least 4 receipts of income during the year? So how do you check the receipts of an NGO? We have done this point. You have been appointed as internal auditor of City Club in Delhi. The receipts of the club are 50 lakhs. You are required to mention special points of consideration while auditing receipts of the club. So what were the receipts? Entrance fee, subscriptions, arrears, members registration, right? Prices charged, investments. 4 to 5 receipts we did in the part of club. You have to write it over here. Okay. Okay. Let's move to another paper. So here we have define government audit. Define government audit and explain its objectives. You have to define government audit and explain this, which is the first 2 slides of government audit. The first 2 pages, 4 marks question. Define government audit. If you could learn the definition we did in steps and objectives of government audit. You have been appointed as auditor of VGM schools. Discuss the points which made you to consideration as an auditor while verifying assets and liabilities of VGM schools. 4 marks question. 4 marks question. And C. Tomo Construction Engineering LLP approach CAK to understand various returns to be maintained and filed by them. Guide, discuss the various returns to be maintained and filed by them. If you remember, Form 8, Form 11. Annual return, statement of solvency, accounts and solvency. So you could see general questions are being asked, direct questions, nothing twist, no chhechad with the questions. Correct, incorrect, given in your notes as well, quite easy, correct, incorrect. So this chapter is a cakewalk if you have understood the concepts really well. If you can make difference in their writing, please make sure that you don't jumble up the answers. If you have read something in charitable institution, you are writing it in educational institution. No, please be specific. There are some common points I understand with respect to fixed assets, investments, when it comes to receipts, counterfoils. There are some common points. But if you are being asked to write answer for specific educational institution, club, cinema hall, hotel, please choose the best specific points. Don't go for common points. Yes, please check the trust deed and no. These are common for everything. You'll not be able to fetch good marks for the common points. If the question is asking you what points merit your consideration in the audit of a hotel, receipts of an hotel, right? So write specific points with respect to hotel. You have to be subjective. You have to choose the best points which are specific to hotel industry. Don't go for those points which are applicable to every kind of entity. This will not fetch you good marks. If you write specific points with respect to that entity only, you'll get good marks. So keep this point in mind, right? Any other doubts, or are we all clear? We could wind up. All the best for your preparations, and work hard, work conceptually, work smart as well. Okay, you have to work hard, but you have to work smart as well. So, and don't take unnecessary stress, only the required stress, the required dose, which acts as a catalyst in your preparation, but should not pull you down from preparing for the exams. So all the best for your preparations and all the best for your exams. May you all pass with vibrant colors of success. Thank you so much. My pleasure, students, my pleasure. Anushka, Arihan, Srishti, Priya, Jamil. Good night, everyone. Good night. Good night.